Look what the damn cat dragged in.
Since it's award season, I figured I'd tell you the story that's been nominated for the most awards ever. Here's Sinners.
Something I've been wanting to tell you for a long time.
You want to see?
Yeah, I want to see.
Watch this.
So we meet Sammy, the son of a preacher man who can't quite live up to his father's standards. Apparently working all night in the cotton fields, then getting home at dawn to wake up his brothers and sisters, and studying the Bible to the point that he can quote it by heart, doesn't make up for the fact that he likes to play guitar.
Why did his dad let him have a guitar then?
Because he thought he'd play it in the church choir, and not learn how to play the blues.
It's one of the many tools of the devil.
He asked Sammy to help with his sermon tomorrow. He sees right through that shit, and knows that he just doesn't want him to play music tonight.
So they can sweat all over each other?
He goes outside where his cousins Smoke and Stack are waiting for him.
Their parents named them Smokestack.
Well, their real names are Elias and Elijah, but people realized they sounded too much alike and just started calling them by their nicknames. They're twins, and the only way you can tell them apart is that Smoke wears a blue hat and Stack wears a red one. They just came back to Mississippi after being gone for 7 years and want to open a club. And they're so excited to do this that they buy a building and plan on opening it the same day.
What?
Yeah, Smoke thinks it's crazy too. He wants to open it in a week.
But I know business, and this is bad for business.
But Stack insists on it being tonight, mostly because he thinks the Klan's gonna shut him down as quickly as they can.
Grand opening, grand closing.
Well, that, and they got their money and alcohol from stealing from the Irish and Italian mobs.
Y'all supposed to be in Chicago working for Capone.
So they need to split up and get everything ready. Smoke goes into town to get supplies and hires a local girl to watch his truck full of alcohol while he goes into the store. Then these two idiots try to steal shit, but don't seem to notice when she honks the horn.
They're stealing!
So when Smoke gets out there, they still have their dumbass heads in the back of the truck. So naturally, he shoots them.
And they die.
Nah, he shoots one in the leg and one in the ass. But he's nice enough to pay the shop owner, Bo, to have his dad give him first aid. Eventually. Because first, he and Smoke have to work out how much food he's gonna need for the club tonight. That, and having his wife Grace make the signs and menus. So those little thieves can just bleed out while they figure out what font to use.
Ain't my problem.
After that's settled, he meets his ex, Annie, to get her to cook at the club. She's kind of a voodoo woman who claims that her spells are what kept him and his brother alive while they were messing around with gangsters and smugglers. Too bad he doesn't believe any of that crap because she couldn't keep their baby alive. But she agrees to cook tonight, and then they bang. Right in her front room where a couple of kids were just a minute ago. So it's a good thing they didn't forget anything.
This is just the start of your education.
Across town, Sammy's with Stack, who's in charge of entertainment and security. They pick up an old blues player, Delta Slim, at the train station, where they run into Stack's ex-girlfriend, Mary. He's surprised to see her, because before he left town, he dumped her ass and set it up for her to marry some white dude in another state.
But then you stuck your tongue in my coos and fucked me so hard, I figured you changed your mind.
She's back for her mom's funeral and is pissed that Smoke and Stack didn't come since they grew up together, even though they just got back in town and didn't know she died. Then he, Sammy, and Slim go to the cotton fields to pick up this big-ass dude, Cornbread, who agrees to take the job after his wife doesn't give a shit that Stack insults her.
Fuck your wife too.
That night, everything's going great, and Sammy even hooks up with this married chick he met at the train station, Pearline. The only issues that come up are whether or not to accept fake money, or if Mary's allowed to be there.
Would it matter to you?
And they decide to let her stay, accept the fake money, and Sammy starts to play. People are just dancing and everybody's having a great time until some white people show up.
Why do white people ruin everything?
Uh-oh. Is it gonna be the Irish gang, the Italian gang, or the Klan?
Neither. They're vampires.
You didn't see that coming?
See, right around sunset, this vampire Remick was running from the Choctaw Indians and made it to this couple's shanty, where he begs them for help. They don't believe him, and probably think he made it up because Bert left his Klan outfit out. But when he offers him gold, they let him in, even though he was steaming.
I just think he's kinda hot.
Then when the Choctaw get there, Joan thinks it's weird that Bert doesn't come to help her when their leader comes to the door.
Oh, he busy, huh?
He tells her that she's in danger, and that if she invited Remick in, she needs their help. But she's like, fuck that. And the other Choctaw want to get the hell out of there because the sun's almost set. So he just gives her a blessing and fucks off. But since he gave her the blessing in a language she doesn't speak, she probably thought it was a threat. So she goes to warn Bert, only to find Bert laying on the floor and Remick with his face covered in blood. Then Bert gets up.
Well, it just so happens that your friend here is only mostly dead.
So Remick, Bert, and Joan want in the club, but Cornbread won't let him in. He even checks with Smoke and Stack, who also tell him to fuck off. But Annie and Mary came with him, and Remick's like, why can she come in but not us? Completely ignoring the obvious answer, because she's hot.
You sure she white?
But Annie answers that Mary belongs with him, and they fuck off. But they don't go too far though, just out of sight. Stack tells Mary that they're not making enough money, so she convinces him that she should go talk to the people he just sent away to see if they'll spend enough money to keep him in business. They see her coming, but they keep singing and make her wait through their boring-ass folk song.
Please don't make me listen to your music.
Remmick's convincing her to let him in, but the other two are giving her the creeps by echoing whatever he says. And despite that, she's still about to let them in, but Remmick's eyes glow red, so she freaks the fuck out and pulls the gun that Stack gave her. She tells him to fuck off, but when she turns her back on him, Remmick follows.
Stalker alert.
She gets back to the club and shows Stack the gold coins that Remmick had. Then when he tells her that she can let him in, she convinces him to bang her instead.
But you can't steal this pussy from mine.
Smoke's dealing with somebody who got caught cheating playing dice, and sends Sammy to get Stack, but he doesn't want to interrupt.
It's not what it looks like.
Especially since Stack was nice enough to give him advice that worked on Pearline.
Lick that.
You just a little hungry, that's all.
So Smoke walks in on him and sees Mary covered in blood and Stack bleeding on the floor. He shoots her, like, a lot, but she just gets up, laughs at him, and fucks off.
Oh, that's a good woman.
Annie, Slim, and Sammy come in to hear Stack say that she bit him, which is kind of obvious from all the blood spilling out of her mouth. So Slim tells everybody that they need to leave, without bothering to inform them that the chick that just ran out covered in blood isn't affected by bullets.
I'll beat up every bitch in here and you know it.
So all the customers fuck off, but Grace wants to go too, so she convinces Bo to get the car. At the same time, Annie's trying to convince Smoke that they need to take Stack's body outside, because she thinks that Mary was a haint, which is basically an evil spirit that takes over a body. But Smoke won't agree to that, so she settles for just locking his body in a room.
Look, you're not being very smart.
Cornbread comes back from taking a piss, and they blame him for not being there when Stack was killed. But since Mary was allowed in the club, and he wouldn't have been watching them have sex, I really don't see how this is his fault. But then he asked them to let him in, and Annie thinks it's weird that he didn't just push past the guy whose brother was just murdered. I mean, he's been there all night. Why would he need to be invited in? So she accuses him of being dead, and he claims that he was only gone so long because the food she cooked gave him explosive diarrhea. And this makes the rest of them agree with Annie because they would rather let him die than smell his farts.
Motherfucker, you're the world's worst friend.
So he agrees to leave if Smoke pays him. Then when he does, he tries to bite his arm. So Smoke shoots him in the face. Cornbread gets back up, while Smoke gets back in the club. And that's when Stack starts pounding on the door. Sammy puts his ear on it to hear better, and Stack almost stabs him in the face. Then, when everybody confirms that Stack was in fact dead, but isn't now, Pearline thinks this is a good thing.
It's a miracle.
He's demanding to be let out, so Smoke runs off to get the key, but Stack's too impatient for that, and busts down the door on top of Sammy. Then Annie throws some pickled garlic on him, and he fucks off.
Why do you think that changes anything?
That changes everything.
She says they're vampires, which makes Grace want to go find Bo, who's been outside by himself since they found out Stack was dead.
I'm doing much better now.
Everyone's trying to convince her out of it by telling her that Bo probably just left her ass because he's a chicken shit, instead of saying what they're really thinking.
He's super dead.
But she does agree not to go out. Annie tells them that they'll be safe as long as they stay inside and don't invite them in, because at sunrise, they all have to leave or the sun will kill them.
Boy, you can't be believing anything that you hear.
She also has them make a whole bunch of wooden stakes because she heard that they'll die if you stab one in the heart.
But if the vampires can't come in, why would they need the stakes?
Shut up. You don't know what kind of tricks those vampires are going to pull. What if they set the club on fire? Are they just supposed to stay inside?
Oh, is that what the vampires do?
No, they do something even worse. Sing Irish songs and dance a jig.
Evil sons of bitches?
I thought you guys were dicks before.
Yeah, and it's not just the original three. Remmick and his friends turned everybody who left the club, so they really should have warned them that some supernatural shit was going down before they kicked everybody out.
The blood is on your hands.
No, that ain't on me.
And now they're all out there doing some white people shit.
And Peckerwoods was nodding their heads, stomping their feet. Some of them was almost on the rhythm.
Are they trying to get everyone inside to kill themselves so they won't be forced to sing and dance to crappy music?
No, they're doing this so far away from the club that Smoke and Sammy can just stand outside and watch.
Why would they go outside if they're only safe inside?
Oh, they found another body inside, so they dragged it out. Now they're having everybody eat garlic to prove that they haven't been bitten. Pearline and Slim have really weird reactions, but the garlic doesn't burn them the way it did Stack, so they can't figure out who killed that guy. Smoke checks out the blood, only to realize it's red wine, just as the dude starts banging on the door to be let back in.
They didn't realize he was still alive?
No, this guy just happened to pass out drunk while holding a full bottle of wine, which spilled in a perfect way to make it look like he was bleeding from a neck wound. Who would question that?
Anyone who saw he didn't have a neck wound?
Good point.
No vision.
But just as they open the door to let him in, Cornbread jumps him. And they just stand there in the door and watch.
Damn, what you do that for? I want my $2!
Bo comes up and asks Grace if she's ready to go. Like there isn't some fat guy gnawing on somebody's neck like right there.
Made a bit of a mess.
He tells her that he likes being a vampire, and she will too. Then Remick comes up and says that being a vampire is a trap, and that if Grace doesn't invite him in, he'll go after her daughter. He also admits that he's there for Sammy, and if they send Sammy out, they'll leave the rest of them alone.
Why Sammy?
Because he's so good at playing guitar that he makes time vortexes with his music.
It's magic what we do.
Like earlier when he was playing, there were people from all different eras dancing around the club.
Why you gotta come here bringing trouble?
No one noticed people wearing weird clothes and dancing with them?
No, apparently you have to be a vampire to see him.
I just happened to show up at the right place at the right time.
And Remick misses people he didn't turn and wants to see him again. And if Sammy's a vampire, he can play for him forever.
We will make beautiful music together.
See, Remick has control over people he turns, which is how he got all those black people to dance like idiots.
Wait, he controls them?
Yeah, and he knows everything they know. Like, now he can speak Chinese.
So why didn't he know Stack was going to let them in before he was a vampire? And why didn't Mary make sure they could come in before she turned him? And why did Stack almost kill Sammy with a knife if Remick wanted him so bad?
I don't know, maybe it takes a while to upload. But since he didn't want them to know that Mary was one of them, he just gave her a little bite on the shoulder. And he must have done something similar with Cornbread, because he didn't have any blood on him either.
The gal bit me everywhere but my neck.
Shit, she might even let you put your pecker in her mouth.
So Sammy's ready to sacrifice himself, but no one else will let him. Then Remick goes back to telling him how much better it is to be a vampire. And also, that the couple he came with, they're related to the Grand Dragon, so he knows the clan are planning on killing him later. But now, the couple is friends with everybody they turned, so they can have a vampire army to fight off all those white hooded fucks.
Nah, I learned from my enemies.
Are you saying that being a vampire is the cure to racism?
Seems like it.
We believe in equality and music.
Remick's saying that he's not killing them, he's saving them, which would probably be easier to believe if he and Mary hadn't both threatened to kill him.
We're gonna kill every last one of you.
But even though he can't seem to make up his mind on whether it's a blessing or a curse, the people inside seem pretty sure it sucks. Pun intended.
But how do they really know?
What do you mean?
Well, if everyone who ever tried broccoli said it was the best thing they've ever had, how would you know without trying it?
That's a really crappy analogy, especially for somebody who won't eat their vegetables. But keep in mind, they've all seen these guys violently biting their friends and drinking their blood. And they don't want to do that to somebody.
Pretty grossed out.
Plus, to get that lovely experience, they have to let somebody bite them and drink their blood, which doesn't seem too great either.
Sounds very painful.
I'm pretty sure any rational person would do a hard pass. And they do. They shut the door and try to come up with a plan. But Grace is freaking the fuck out, thinking that one of them might be going after her daughter. She wants everybody to go outside and kill him. But everybody else thinks that that's stupid. They're outnumbered and aren't even sure what Annie heard will kill him. They tell her it is not happening. So she stupidly yells that they can come in.
Come on in, you motherfucker!
But they're nice enough to come in slowly, so everybody can arm up. Grace throws a Molotov cocktail at Remick, and that shit is on. She also stabs her dead husband, but ends up immediately dying on fire since Remick deflected her bottle. Then Remick's killing some guy that I don't even remember still being alive.
Who are you?
Perline's shooting vampires at random, and Mary kills some nameless weirdo.
Who the hell are these guys?
Smoke and Annie also take out a vampire, then Annie throws some holy water on Remick, and realizes the other vampires feel it too.
Ouch!
So she tells Smoke, but while she's distracted, Stack bites her. Perline shoots Stack, and then Remick, which gives Smoke time to get to Annie. Earlier, she made him promise to kill her if she was bitten. So he does, and she does.
I'm a vampire. Kill me. Kill me.
Mary and Stack freak out when they see what he's about to do, but for some reason, don't hurry to stop him, even though he's super slow about stabbing her, and it would take a lot of force to get to her heart. She had a lot of padding.
Big ass titties!
Slim pulls Smoke away from her body and sends him to the back with Perline and Sammy, and Slim was even nice enough to grab Sammy's guitar.
What are all the vampires doing?
Oh, they're like on a break.
Guys, take 5. You got a cigarette?
I mean, Perline's been shooting him, but that just slows him down. And they supposedly felt it when Remick was shot, but that didn't seem to faze Mary at all, so they really just killed 3 people and went back to waiting outside for no apparent reason.
I can't take it anymore.
Slim cuts himself and tells the vampires to come get him so the others can get away. So all the vampires come back in, and he dies.
You don't have to go through Delta Slam before we get to you.
But when Smoke opened the back door, Remick was waiting for him.
Sammy!
Good work.
And he goes after Sammy, but Perline stabs him in the back. So he forgets about the guy that he's killed all these people for to bite her.
Careful, boy. You're gonna bite off more than you can chew.
Sammy tries to stab him, then Smoke, who's fighting with Stack, shoots Remick. Both Perline, who knows she's dying, and Smoke tell Sammy to make a run for it. And somehow, there are no vampires outside waiting for him.
But as far as I can tell, you're not doing anything.
Remick comes flying out of the warehouse, but instead of just biting Sammy, he slaps his ass into the pond. And since the pond was right in front of where Sammy was running, he really didn't pick the best direction to escape.
Boy, you ain't got the sense God gave a goose.
Remick slowly goes after him while talking, instead of just rushing and biting him. But just as he's about to turn him, Sammy starts praying.
Are you telling me a vampire can't bite him while he's using Jesus powers?
No, that would be stupid. Remick just decides to again delay biting the one person he actually wanted to turn to prove that he knows scripture too. And all the other vampires know it by heart too, so they all join in and stand around the pond to watch.
Come and play with us forever and ever and ever.
Once they're done, Remick baptizes Sammy instead of, just biting him, then goes on a long-winded speech about how religion lies. So Sammy bashes him in the head with his guitar.
You were droning on.
It breaks, and the metal stabs Remick in the head and steams for some reason.
Is it silver?
Nah, his dad probably blessed it to keep the devil away. Kinda seems like the type. So all the other vampires get hurt by this, except Stack, who's still fighting with Smoke. He's about ready to bite him, but he can't because of the mojo bag Annie had him wear. So Smoke grabs a stake and pins Stack to the ground.
We're more alike than you think.
Remick gets the metal out of his head and talks some more to Sammy. And then just as he's about to bite him again, Smoke stabs him in the back.
Surprise, motherfucker.
But all the vampires are standing around watching.
Yeah, but they all felt Remick's boo-boo, so they didn't bother to stop Smoke. Either that or they thought he was Stack, who was just carrying a stake for some reason.
That can't be good.
But anyway, all the vampires feel like they've been stabbed too, so they just stand there like idiots as the sun starts to rise. And they catch on fire, and they die.
Well, none of them were vampires before tonight, so maybe they didn't know it would kill them.
Except they all have Remick's memories, so as long as he knew it, they knew it. And even if that wasn't true, Perline heard it from Annie. Either way, apparently there is no time for them to get to safety, even though the warehouse is like right there. So these guys just instantly burst into flames because it's easier for them to just die.
This is the way.
It's kind of sad to think that Slim, Annie, and Perline could have survived if Grace could have just waited 15 more minutes. But no, she had to save her daughter by making her an orphan.
No, that's bullshit.
But Remick burns a little slower so Smoke and Sammy can watch. Or maybe the longer you're a vampire, the more time you have out in the sun. And then apparently turn into a fire tornado.
It's a twister! It's a twister!
So once the sun is completely up, Sammy leaves and Smoke pulls out some big ass guns and waits. He believes Remick was telling the truth about the clan coming.
You telling the truth, Smoke.
A bunch of white guys come armed, but leave their weapons behind as they go to the warehouse. Then they're surprised that the club, which wouldn't be open in the morning, is locked.
You didn't check the website?
Oh, that's a good idea.
Smoke starts shooting, and they take cover behind their cars and start shooting back. But none of them manage to hit him while he's completely unprotected in the open, grabbing a different gun.
Oh, is Annie's mojo bag really that good?
No, he took that off.
I don't believe in voodoo.
He fully plans on dying. He just wants to take a bunch of racist assholes with him. He does shoot most of them, but a couple try to get away in a truck. So he throws a grenade in it, and it blows up, and they die.
Must feel good.
But the guy in the back was able to shoot Smoke in the gut. But that's fine, because he sees Annie and their baby, so now he's glad that he died a human instead of becoming a stupid vampire that stayed outside and burned for no reason.
The tortures of the damned!
Sammy makes it to the church, where when his dad sees him covered in blood with claw marks on his face, he just goes up to him and tells him, well, that's what you get for playing the devil's music.
Well, it did almost get him killed.
No, that's victim blaming. And Sammy's smart enough to see this too, and won't give it up, even though his guitar's broke.
You ain't in no position to tell me how to live my life.
Instead, he takes off on his own, where 60 years later, he's still playing the blues. And we see that he even named his bar after the married woman he went down on that night.
I just want to taste you.
I'm gonna wash up first.
What the hell is that smell?
But one night, Stack and Mary come visit. Apparently, Smoke couldn't kill him, and I guess Mary was taking a nap while the others were being burnt to death. Stack agreed to leave Sammy alone, but decided to give him a chance to become a vampire now that he's dying.
Come with me and be immortal.
He turns him down, but is nice enough to play a song for him.
Oh, to open up the time vortex and they can see Smoke and all the others again?
Nope, just a song. But considering that this story opens with a narration about his power to be able to time travel people, and then the whole reason all these people died was for Remick to have him be able to perform this power whenever he wanted for the rest of eternity, you'd think that when he said, "That was the best night of my life because that was the last time I got to see my brother alive," that might have been a clue to play a song that would have brought at least his brother back for a minute. But no, they missed a perfect opportunity to bookend this story, and they just leave and never see him again.
Did you think we would forget?
But what do you expect? It was written by the same guy who had Black Panther fight a guy who got his powers from the water on the ocean.
The protector of Wakanda.
Why can't y'all just go?
Cause we're not leaving without y'all.
And I ain't doing this shit without you.
And what is it we supposed to be doing?
What's it gonna be?
Right here?
Yeah, right now. Come on. All right, come on. Don't be stupid now.
I ain't stupid.
Pick his head, I picked his feet. I would've picked his body, but it wasn't fit to eat.
Y'all have a nice night.